let us over trap beats. The Fixx is saying, ooh. DJ Focus, tell him turn you up. Ooh. DJ Focus, tell him turn you up. Ooh.
Welcome back, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You tap back into the Fixx, your source of faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry, and it's time for our spiritual detox. And y'all know how we like to listen. Y'all know we do hip-hop, but we also like to highlight some movers and shakers in the gospel. And we're excited. We gotta listen. When I tell you, I think she might be slept on. I think people know, but they don't know.
They need to
And
wake up.
yeah, they need to wake up, Dice, and we're
wake up.
grateful that she came on today. And I think she has a powerful testimony, as well as she's making music again. So listen, without further ado, the super talented songstress, Geneen White. What's up, sis?
Hi, how y'all doing?
Good.
Yay. Thank you for that amazing intro.
Come on now. You are amazing. Thank you for coming on here. Yeah, you are definitely a superstar. I always ask Focus, like, how do you know these people? Like, how do you do this? So it's an honor having you on here.
Absolutely.
Be with you guys today. Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. So come on, Geneen. Share a little bit of your faith journey with the people, maybe kind of like how you developed your personal relationship with Christ before we talk about all the singing and everything else you do.
Sure. Well, I was born, bred, and raised in church. I'm a PK. I'm pastor's daughter, and born in Ohio.
Oh,
And
wait. You better say
yeah,
that
well,
then.
Why did you
well,
say
I was born in
why?
Youngstown,
You
but
better
raised.
say that. Listen, Geneen, listen, I like you even more. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm in Cleveland. So listen, we family.
Oh,
Listen.
come on. Okay, so
Why?
we
Don't
family.
even.
Dice,
Oh my God.
Dice, it's okay, Dice, for a moment. Let family
I'm gonna
talk.
go on
It's
mute.
okay.
I'm
Let
going on
family
mute.
talk.
I'm gonna mute myself. Go
We
ahead.
family did. So, when you're raised in church, you get the little church, well, not little, but you get the solo. So, in the little kids choir, the choir director just saw something in me and asked me to do my first solo ever, which was Dear Jesus, I Love You by the Hawkins. And once I started singing there, I was just like, hey, I think I could do this. You know what I mean? So started singing, and then we migrated to California when I was 13. And I knew that I wanted to be in a church that I could grow. Even as a teenager, I really wanted to grow with God and grow in the Lord. My parents were, there, but I wanted my own personal relationship with Him. And so I started to go to a church in LA and get in the choir and sing, and really, really grew strong in my faith there. They taught us about faith. They taught us about the anointing. They taught us prayer lives and worship and all of that. So I'm super grateful that I had that heritage as a child. And then coming up, I started singing more, learning about worship, and starting to lead worship. And of course, you need a strong foundation there. So caused me to study the word more so that I know what I'm talking about when I'm up there with a mic in my hand. You know what I mean? And I think that's really the foundation of how, I got in church and doing what I'm doing now.
That's good. I appreciate you sharing that, giving us a little bit of that background. And I shout out to all the PKs out here in the building. Okay, I have a question for you though. Like being a really, really talented, gifted, anointed singer, what keeps you, or why did you choose the path of gospel? Because you didn't have to,
Mhm.
at
Yeah,
all. Like we never have to pick it. Like
right.
was it just, hey, this is in my heart, or had you ever had any ideas of maybe doing something different?
hmm Well, when being raised in the church with my parents being pastors, it was almost like you didn't even think about doing anything else. But
Mhm.
as I became an adult and really start jumping into this as a profession, um, I couldn't think of or even see myself singing anything different. Now, for my production company, of course, we've done other things, but they were always inspirational. So I was a part of a production company called White Throne Productions, where we used to do contract the choir for certain shows. So for like the Grammys, American Idol, American Music Awards, if an artist needed a choir or if they needed some background singers, our production company provided provided that. And so even with that, we still only did like certain types of music, like inspirational or pure, we call them pure lyrics, where, you know, it's not anything that's defamatory against Christ. So um, even then, although we did gospel or inspirational, it caused me to change up my flair of music. So I'm not just traditional gospel. I have an album out right now, and it's so many different types of music on there. All because of how we, you know, kind of opened up our scope, so to speak, to different genres of music. But for me, it was always going to be either worship or gospel.
That's amazing. Listen,
Yeah.
I feel every time I hear these testimonies, Dice. You know, I feel a certain way because, you know, I was a heathen. I feel like I missed the mark. I missed the mark. I was waiting
Did
for
you say was?
Yeah,
What?
listen,
No.
Dice, don't do that. Dice, don't do that. Dice, don't do that. Ooh, you be cutting up when we got company. Lord, you be cutting up. Janine, is there one misconception growing up as a PK you could kind of like debunk and say, you know what, you know, I know they say this about PKs, but nah, not so much.
No.
Yeah.
No, a lot of what they say
All these
about
rumors are
PK,
true.
absolutely true.
All these rumors are true.
I would just keep it real. You know, of course, to what magnitude that is, you know, people have their own imaginations, you know, and so that sometimes they embellish a lot. But honestly, yes, PKs can be fast. Yes, PKs are the ones that are always late to church. Yes, you know, PKs you know, they feel entitled. Like you know, the list goes on and on and on of what is said about us. So a lot of it is true. But it's also true that we love God. It's also true that we grow into our salvation just like everybody else. You know, we're still human. So, you know, we want a boyfriend just like everybody else. We want to get married just like everybody else. We want to have kids just like everybody else, you know. So we have our human experience. But how we deal with that, you know, honestly, I have to say a lot of it is true what they say.
Did you ever feel the pressure though? Did you ever feel pressure to like always have to be, you
Mhm.
know, live up to, you know, your parents, you know, being, you know, leaders and pastors, that you always had to be perfect in so many, that did you ever feel like that? Wow, mom, dad, why I gotta always, you know, make the mark?
Not me, because I'm the baby of the family, but my siblings, absolutely, they struggle. Like my brother's the oldest, and I have two older sisters. My oldest sister and my oldest brother, they struggled. It was hard for them to um, follow all those rules. You know, it was just like, wow, this is just not even possible to do, you know. And my dad and mom was a lot stricter then. So by the time I came along, my brothers and sisters always say, well, you came
They
along,
were
you got to
tired.
do anything
They
you
was
ever
like,
wanted to do. We couldn't wear
what?
pants, we couldn't wear earrings, we couldn't go to the prom, we couldn't do nothing. You come
Go to
along,
the
you know,
prom.
what, 10, 15 years later, you can do whatever you want to do. So I didn't feel the pressure as much as they did. But the pressure is very real, especially if they're grooming you to be the next. You know what I mean? You might be the next pastor or the next, you know, whatever of a ministry. That was never my desire. I always knew I wanted to sing. And so I focused on that. And when my mom was like, are you going to go to college? I was like, absolutely not. Like, that's not me. Now, if my siblings said that, it would be a problem. But for me, she saw that I wanted to be a singer. So she was like, well, you don't have to do something until you become Beyonce. You don't get a job and you don't do this and you don't do that. And so I went to school towards my trade, and that is an executive administrator. So I did go to like a community college to get like a trade, but I did not go to like a 4-year whole HBCU, all that. I didn't do all of that. I was just like, I'm going to sing for Jesus. That's it. And God blessed me to do that, you know,
Yes,
and
he
to be
did.
successful at it to where now I can live off of it. You know what I mean? So I know that I'm blessed.
Yes, you are. You're absolutely blessed. I'm ready to get into this music focus, but do we need to pay any bills first? Okay.
Yeah, we better pay some bills real quick. Listen, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble, we got the super talented songstress Geneen White with us. We got to go to a quick break. We coming right back with more. You tapped into the Fixx.
And the Fixx is in.
Only
Culture Radio.
We're not just background noise. We play the music that inspires you because every song has a story. Christian hip hop and R&B music and talk on Siriusxm channel 154, 24 hours a day. Holy Culture Radio is changing the game. Discussions about faith, arts, vocation, and education. We talk about the real issues that affect our communities and work together to find solutions. Join the discussion at holyculture.net and be heard.
Welcome back, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. Listen, having a great conversation with Geneen White, aren't we, Dice?
Yeah, we are. Geneen, thank you for hanging out with us. And we definitely have to get into this music now. You got a lot of songs on here. And I want to
Yeah.
know, I want to know why did you do the single and
Uh-huh.
then you dropped the project? So that's something that's been in my mind. What you got there? So November was full of highlights, but
Yeah.
please do share. Please do share.
So, and I got in trouble for that too. I have a marketing friend who was like, "No, don't do that. That's not how it's done." And wait and pause. And so I was working on the album, and I have been trying to do this album for 15 years. Literally, I've been serving and singing background all of my life, literally, and I still will. Like I still do praise and worship at my church. I'm still on the team. I still sing alto. And I had been working on this album for a long time. And so by the time I had the means to put out my album, I just took every song that I had ever done or every song that someone had asked me to do, and I just put it on the app, just recorded it and just, put it on the album. And it's so funny. I got discouraged and I wasn't going to put the album out. And I ran into Dietrich Haddon, who is my mentor. I ran into him at the airport. We were going to the Stellars in Vegas and bumped into him at the airport. And he could see like something was on me. He was just like, what's going on with you? And I was like, I don't know. I just have a lot of decisions to make. And, I have an album, but I'm not sure if I want to put it out. It's just, a lot of the music throughout the years. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's relevant. And he said, well, I would have to hear it. He said, why are you questioning it? And I said, well, a couple of the producers that were on it, they backed out, because they said that it was dated, and they were like, kind of like it was played out. And he was like, yeah, I need to hear it. So I sent him 5 songs from off of the album. And maybe like 2 weeks later, he hit me up and he was like, you know what, Geneen? He said, they're right. He said, it is dated. He said, it's timeless. He said, what I'm hearing right now is timeless worship. He said, it sounds like you. He said, it's anointed. It feels good. He said, and if I was you, I would name your record Outdated. And so at first I was like, yeah, it's outdated. Yeah, trying to throw it in people's faces. But then after a while, and I actually even wrote my bio, the bio that we presented as the album was coming out, it says Outdated. But after a while, the Lord was dealing with my heart, like, that's not the title of this. And so he was like, you're just trying to be spiteful. And so the Lord dealt with me and he said the actual title is Timeless. So the reason why there's so much music and so many things on it, there are 17 IDs on this album, is because I just really wanted to put on an album everything that I had been working on. And then honestly, I was going to start fresh, on another album. But this one is doing quite well. So I've been able to market and push this one. The single. So which single are we talking about? We talking about Do Free? We talking
Yeah,
about
that's
Glory and
right.
Cry?
No.
Do Free.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
So
They were back to back.
yeah, they were. So what happened was I submitted the 5 songs not only to Dietrich, but to maybe 3 or 4 other radio announcers around the United States. And synonymously, hands down, they all came back with Do Free. And I was asking them, what should the single be? And I was so frustrated because we lost Uncle Chuck. Uncle Chuck was a
On the
dear
song.
friend of mine.
Yep.
And we actually recorded that during COVID. And then a couple of years went by and he just called me out of the blue. And I don't know if you guys know Uncle Chuck. Uncle Chuck is was an amazing bass player. He was the lead singer for the Zion Messengers, which is a quartet out here, but he's mostly known for working with Snoop and 1500 Nothing. And so he had the honor to go to Dubai with Beyonce. And when he was on his way, he called me. And this is like years later after we recorded it. And he was like, "What's going on with your album? You know, where's the music? You know, it's just too good that you can't let it fall to the ground." And I mean, he was just really, really going off on me. And I said, "Okay, you know, well, COVID." I was trying to come up with all different kind of excuses. And he was like, "No," he was like, "Put it out, put it out." He said, "We'll talk when I get back." And
Mhm.
I heard from Chuck again. Once he landed, he got in a motorcycle accident and passed away. And
Mhm.
so when I heard that, I was like, well, what do I do now? You know, this was the song that everybody picked. And how do I market this? How do I sing this without him? You know, when you hear it, you clearly hear Chuck is like smashing, he's killing, you know. So I was like, how do I even release this song without him? But this is the song that everyone picked. And when I released it, it did exactly what everyone was saying. It touched the heart of LA. It
Mhm.
touched the hearts of people. The message was strong, and that's how it happened. Real honestly, the radio announcers picked the single. Uh,
Wow.
and because I got such a great response, we pushed it. But I was so ready to get off of it, as the reason why I dropped another single so soon. I was so
Mhm.
ready to get off of it because I was like, I can't promote this the way that I would like to. Um, I want to cry before I try to sing it. You know, it was just a very emotional. So we did the video. We
Yeah.
put the video together. And once we put the video together, I let the video do what I couldn't do. And then it was time to drop the next single. So that's that
That
story.
was good. And let's just say
Okay.
this, and Focus, I know you got another question, so I'm gonna give her over to you. Um, well, not a question. Let me make a statement. Thank you for the album, because we often say we love albums. You know,
Mhm.
nowadays people just give us like a minute and a half of a
Mhm.
song or
Yeah.
interlude, and it's like, can you give
Yeah.
us some music if we want to drive state to state, or we're on an
Right.
airplane and we can just listen to it? So
Yeah.
I actually I'm grateful that you have so many songs on the project. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's so good. I honestly, there's little interludes and stuff in there where I'm exhorting on a Sunday night. I used to lead worship at West Angeles Church, where Bishop Blake is the pastor. And so often on Sunday nights, we would have, just good old church. And
Hmm.
some of those interludes and some of those moments, I was just like, I'm going to just pull that. That sounds good. That feels good. So let me just add that to the album as, little segues.
Hmm.
So those are a lot of, I think I have 5 of those. Those are a lot of the IDs, but I don't know. I just wanted to empty out on this album. I wanted to empty out. And again, I was just going to do that and start a whole new something. And the people were just like, this is really good. Like, you should
Hmm.
focus on this. So, Glory Ain't No Rock.
Come on.
That is a 9-minute, 30-second praise and worship set at my church. We did this song. It's originally from the City of Refuge, Bishop Noel Jones. His choir recorded it in 2007. Gerald Haddon is the writer of the original Glory, Glory, Glory. That's the original song. And I heard it at a friend's house, and I said, oh, I'm doing that for praise and worship at my church. And so we did it. And our pastor was known for, when he's ready for you to sit down, he'll stand up and, he'll have his announcements and papers in his hand, and he'll give you the eye. So I
Hmm.
was waiting for that eye, and I never got it. He was just in the song, and I kept looking, and then I looked at the band, and we didn't have a lot to the song. So we started to add on the spot, and the musicians changed the music. And then, I started to flow in the spirit, and God started giving me different parts of the song, like the Ain't No Rock Crying Out for Me. And,
Hmm.
if we praise you, like literally the song would end in about 3 to 4 minutes, but we had 10 minutes to do worship. And normally he would be wrestling the papers at 5. So we didn't really plan or prepare anything extra. So the Holy Spirit just began to write the song on its own.
Wow.
And then as I was singing around the city, they would ask me to do that song. And so we started adding more parts to it. And it just turned into a 9-minute, 30-second worship experience. And when it came time for me to put it on the album, we fought. We fought like, do we need a radio edit? Do we need to cut it out? And I was like, I don't want to interrupt this moment. Like, they'll, if they want to fade, they can fade on it. You know what I mean? But to do an actual radio edit to this moment would do it a disservice. So we just kept it.
Thank you for keeping it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was like 9 minutes and 30. We fought over that shit. We fought over this whole album. Like we
I
just
love it.
was fighting over this album. But
So good.
I was just like, just keep it. And
Mhm.
if they enjoy it, they enjoy it. If not, then, they'll fade on it. But at least the people will have the whole version,
Mhm.
I'm very surprised that people were fighting you on this, because I do think that see, that's the beautiful thing about gospel music. I think we should have a little bit of everything, and there's
Mhm.
always a place for a traditional worship album,
Mhm.
like something that just takes you into a place of worship and where you can just
Yeah.
release. Sometimes you just
Yeah.
need to release, you know. Uh,
Absolutely.
like I
Absolutely.
listen to your project and I'm like, it's so many great songs where I can just have my Bible open, I can just hear the
Right.
singing, I can just start praying in the midst of some of the songs, like, yeah, just ushering in the spirit. So like I'm really surprised that people were giving you kickback and saying that,
Yeah.
you shouldn't put it out. So I'm really surprised about that.
Hey,
Yeah.
we love that.
For me, it was a thing of flow. I wanted all of the songs to flow as if we were in church, as if we were in our personal time. But the industry kind of changed, and we started streaming, and then we started doing social media, and they felt like people's attention span can only hold so much, music. And so I was like, well, let them decide that. Let them decide what songs they don't want to hear or whatever. But for me to adjust a whole worship experience, just because they might not listen to the whole song, I just couldn't fathom that.
Mm.
And for the album, I just think it was divine timing, honestly. Sometimes we're ready for something. Sometimes we're ready, but it's not the season or the timing,
Mm.
for us. And yeah, they fought me. The producers fought me. I think because I'm a producer in my own right.
Mm.
And so, I can't play a note, but I know what I need to hear, So I would oftentimes sing certain chords or
Mhm.
sing certain notes. And when we would go into the studio, I would be like, that needs more reverb, or that needs more that. And they'd be looking at me like, girl, if you don't get behind that booth and just sing. But I just knew what I wanted it to sound like. So I think that had a lot to do with the kickback as well.
It's
So what's
perfect.
next?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, what's next? Because are we going on tour this summer, or and what else do you have working on? You in a movie or something? Because I know you in a
I know.
lot
I
of
feel
different
like a movie.
spaces.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I do feel like it's a movie or something. She
Right.
ain't telling us about
Right.
that.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, tell us what's
I need
coming
a
up
movie.
next.
My whole life is a movie. Listen, I got a whole testimony that could be a book, a movie, something.
Come on now.
But we are pushing LA right now. LA, I think the single Do Free really struck a fire underneath me to support the LA artist. We're so competitive in LA, but we all support one another to a certain degree. And so when Do Free dropped, I was like, come on, LA, we need to support. Uncle Chuck is LA bred, and, we just want to push LA. And after that, I don't know, we all just was like, if you go to a concert, we're all going to come. If you do if you put on a show, we're all going to come. And so we're working on like a West Coast tour for the Stella Awards this year.
Wow.
Uh, and not just the heavy hitters, not just like the Marys and those who kind of opened up the door for LA to be on the map on a secular level. We're going to start pushing, people like me and Deontay Duckett, and you have FM2 and Intentional. They're the choir on Glory, Glory, Glory. They're
Wow.
artists here. Yeah. So we all kind of like the underdogs. The underdogs. We all came together. And when we go to the Stellars in July, we're going to do like a West Coast set. And hopefully people will see what we've been sitting on. There's some gems in LA that just
Yeah.
don't get the exposure. And so some of us that have been doing it a little bit longer, we're going to, share our platform, share our moments, and have other groups that we feel like are ready. It's not just because we have compassion. It is a business, it is the industry, so you got to come ready. You know what I mean? But we're going to share our platform this year, and I'll have a couple of opportunities to sing, but I will relinquish one of my songs, one of my 5 minutes or whatever, and allow the other artists to come on and do some of their stuff. So hopefully that will turn into a tour. You know what I
Come on
mean?
now.
Hopefully that's where we're going to start, but hopefully that will turn into a tour.
Well, we're definitely praying for you and definitely believing for that tour. And,
Thank
we'll be there to cover that red carpet.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll find you.
I was just about to
That's
say,
gonna be
make
dope.
sure you we get an invite now. Don't leave us out now, because
No, I'm
we
with
we
that for
always
sure.
we always at the Stellars every year. So yeah, make sure you put us on that list now.
I'm gonna find it. Don't be letting them kick me off either. They're gonna be like, her name is not on the list.
It's on the list. Double check, triple check. It's on the list.
That's on the list.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Listen, we appreciate you, Geneen, coming through. Listen, please tell the people how they can connect with you, follow you on all your social media platforms, where they can stream this amazing worship album.
Sure. You can go to any digital outlet, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, any of them. And then also you can reach me on Instagram at Geneen.white5323_ or Facebook is just Geneen White. And it's with a G. It's GENEEN, white like the color. So yeah, reach out, listen to the album and tell me what you think. I would love to hear how y'all feel about it.
Yeah, shouts out to everybody
Come on
listening
now.
now. Y'all need a revival in your life. So
Yeah, you
just get
do.
this worship album in your
Timeless
spirit.
in your spirit.
Yes, get
Yes.
timeless, y'all.
Get
Yay.
timeless. I love that.
Listen, we got to go to a quick break. We'll be right back with more. Keep it locked. You tune into The Fixx.
And the Fixx is in.